All right, so this example is going to be graphing a rational equation in general form. So you can see we got this function f of x is equal to 2, and that's being divided by x minus 3, and then after that is going to be added by 3. This is our general equation. Now within this general equation we have three things that we're really interested in. We're interested in our a value, if it's positive or negative, our transformation to the right or left, and our transformation that's going to be up or down. First, I'm going to start out with my transformation that would be right or left, and that is going to be our h value. So you can see that in the denominator, it's x minus 3. That's our h value. That's going to tell me right or left, and since it's minus 3, we're going to move to the right, which means we have a vertical asymptote at x equals 3. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that value afterwards. That plus 3 is my movement. That's my k value. That's my up or down movement. Since it was plus 3, we moved up 3. That's going to be my horizontal. So now my horizontal asymptote becomes y equals 3. Right? So we have a vertical asymptote, we have a horizontal asymptote. We also are going to try to identify domain and our range, and then of course we're going to graph it. So we just identified our vertical and our horizontal. I'm going to go ahead and make my little picture over here. I'm going to go ahead and draw a 3 on the x-axis and draw my vertical asymptote. Now I'm going to draw a 3 on my y-axis and draw my horizontal asymptote. Now this is where you can go ahead and start to use your calculator to help you out. You can plug that in to see where you're supposed to be located. We should be able to identify these verticals and horizontals just from the equation, but if you aren't sure as to where you're supposed to graph everything, go to your calculator, type it in, and then draw your picture. And it's just a rough sketch. So I'll be graphing in the upper right and bottom left. All right, the other thing that we're going to have to do is identify our domain and our range. All right, now when we identify a vertical asymptote, that is going to be an x value that is excluded. We're not going to use that. That's a restriction. So I'm going to start with my domain going from negative infinity up to the value that I'm not allowed to use. And then I'm going to start with that value again and go all the way to positive infinity. Now for my horizontal asymptote, it's the exact same thing. It's a y value that we're not able to obtain. So I'll start with my lowest y value, negative infinity, go up to the y value that we're trying to go towards, which is 3. And then I'll start with that again and go to the top of my range, which is positive infinity. So there's going to be a question like this on the test, exactly of the same variety. You're going to have to identify right, left, up, down, draw a rough picture, and identify that information that we just did.